So today, we're going to dive into something that many people are calling the next huge leap forward after the internet itself. It's the blockchain revolution. This is a technology that really promises to change our digital world in some fundamental ways. And we are going to break down exactly what that means for all of us.
To really get our heads around this, let's just start with a simple but powerful question. What if you didn't need a middleman? Seriously, think about it. What if you could send money without a bank? Or store your data without relying on a huge tech company? What if you could prove who you are without some government agency? What would that world even look like?
That question right there, that's the key to understanding this whole thing. So let's get to it. Let's define what this revolution actually is.
Okay, so at its very core, the blockchain revolution is a massive shift away from the systems we use every day, the ones controlled by a single company or entity, like your bank or a social media platform. Instead of one person holding all the cards, all the data, and all the power, that control gets spread out across a huge network of computers. This makes it decentralized, transparent, and, as you'll see, incredibly secure.
And believe me, it's called a revolution for a very good reason. This isn't just like a simple software update. Nope, this is a completely new blueprint for how we handle some of the most important things in our society: our data, our money, and maybe the biggest one of all, trust. This quote just nails it. It perfectly captures the change that's happening. We're moving from a world where we have to trust people or big institutions to a world where we can actually trust the technology itself. The guarantee doesn't come from a company's promise anymore. It comes from pure math, from the code, and from the agreement of the entire network.
So, you might be wondering, okay, that sounds cool, but how does it actually do all that? It might sound super complex, but it really boils down to just a few key ideas that work together in a pretty brilliant way.
So it all starts with this idea of decentralization. I want you to imagine a shared digital notebook. But instead of one person holding it, everyone in the network gets an identical copy that updates automatically for everyone at the same time. What this means is there's no single point of failure. There's no one person in charge. The whole system is just incredibly tough.
And because everyone has a copy of that same notebook, that naturally leads to transparency. Every transaction, every entry is visible to everyone else on the network. This creates the shared public record that is constantly being checked and verified by everybody. It builds accountability right into the DNA of the system.
Now, here's where it gets really, really powerful. Once you add an entry to that shared notebook, it's permanent. It's sealed with cryptography to the entry that came before it, which forms a chain of blocks. And that, right there, is where the name blockchain comes from. You literally can't go back and secretly change something without the entire network knowing. This is called immutability, and for preventing fraud, it's an absolute game changer.
So you take all these pieces, decentralization, transparency, immutability, and you put them together and you get what's called a trustless system. Now, I know that sounds a little weird, right? But trustless just means you don't have to place your trust in any single person or any single company. The trust is baked right into the code and the math of the system itself. It's designed to work as promised.
Okay, so we've got the what and we've got the how. But, the most important question is always why? Why does any of this actually matter in the real world?
Well, to put it simply, the potential impact here is just massive. When you can build systems based on verifiable truth, and you can get rid of the need for these expensive middlemen, you unlock brand new possibilities in almost every industry you can think of.
And this image, it kind of says it all, doesn't it? We're on this journey away from the old models, the ones with a single point of control. And we're moving towards a future that is just fundamentally more spread out, more distributed, more decentralized.
And hey, this isn't some sci-fi fantasy. It's already happening. In finance, you can send money across the globe in minutes without a bank. In supply chains, you can track a product from the factory to your front door with total certainty. It's starting to pop up everywhere, from healthcare records and voting systems to how we manage our own digital identities.
But of course, like any powerful new technology, it's not some magic wand. It's not a silver bullet. So to get the full picture, we've got to look at both the incredible upsides and the very real challenges that are still ahead.
This table really lays it out clearly. See the pattern here? Where the old systems are centralized and need a third party for trust, blockchain systems are decentralized and use cryptography. And that single change leads to way more transparency, much better security, and, in a lot of cases, lower costs. So on the plus side, the advantages are pretty compelling. We're talking about systems with crazy high security and transparency. That means fraud becomes much, much harder. It also means you get faster, cheaper transactions that are open to anyone with an internet connection, no matter where you are in the world.
But let's be real, the hurdles are pretty big too. Right now, the technology can struggle to handle tons of transactions at once. That's the scalability problem. Some blockchains use an enormous amount of energy. And because it's so new, governments are still scratching their heads trying to figure out how to regulate it, which creates a lot of uncertainty.
So with all that in mind, the good, the bad, the exciting, the tricky, what comes next? Where is this whole revolution actually headed?
Well, the long-term vision is pretty breathtaking, honestly. We could see a whole new version of the internet, what people are calling Web 3.0, where you and I actually own and control our own data. You can imagine smarter cities running on these efficient, transparent networks, or new digital economies where you can securely trade things like art or real estate online. The ultimate goal here is to build a digital world on a foundation of trust that you can actually verify for yourself.
Which leaves us with the big central question. This technology clearly has the potential to build a more secure, more transparent, maybe even a more fair digital world. But every revolution brings surprises. So will it deliver on its incredible promise? Or will it end up creating a whole new set of problems we can't even predict yet? That is the question that time and this technology will eventually answer.